In this video, I'll show the effectiveness of the wing at about 35 kilometer per hour airflow. And I found out earlier that on the 20 kilometer per hour range, it makes about right around 5 grams of downforce. Normally the car produces about 1.5 grams of lift at the tail with no wing at all. So having it go from nothing to +4 on downforce is a pretty good gain, because you're actually canceling out an extra 1.5 grams from that lift. The video today will show basically the effectiveness at higher speeds. Suppose you have a brushless car, or you run a PN50 motor, or something of that nature. Basically 8-9 tooth pinion is when this wing really comes alive. And you'll notice that at the 7 tooth range, just not as much. It produces only about, like we said, 4 to 5 grams of downforce. But in full disclosure, again, just to let you know what I've done to the car, I've got a piece of Lexan coating the front of the car. I have one on the side that smooths the airflow as well. And then I added the tail section that you see here. And this is where... Okay, so we'll test it now with a wind speed of around 32. And let me make sure I get this in the right place. So 61.3 on the tail, 58.1 on the back. I have to have the outlet from my hairdryer so close that it isn't truly putting air under the car. This is just basically blowing it at the car and the wing itself. So it may make a little more if I had a better wind tunnel, which I plan on making a better one in the near future. I have done a little research on the best way to do that, and one is on the way. But for now, we'll see what it does. In the middle 30s simulated wind, 61.3 on the tail. That's an increase of 8.3 grams. About 8 grams. And when you consider that is 1/8 of the weight on the rear axle to begin with, I'd say that's a pretty good increase. You will notice that on a track. As you can tell, the McLaren is a pretty good body. Even the front of the car is forced down by the wind just due to the shape of the wheel. One of the things I noticed doing some airflow testing was as wind comes over the fender, it drops sharply at this curve right here. So it'll come over and drop. And I've also smoothed the sides here with a piece of plastic. So you can't see it, but this is a smooth side. So just out of full disclosure what I've done to this car, the side has been smoothed, and I think that might bring a little bit of extra wind around to the side just from the back. And I won't go into the shape of it, but it has been designed through this process to optimize the airflow and get the most benefit out of it. I did a little bit of flow analysis with the string testing and determined that this is probably the best shape to use, at least that I found so far. And I hope that answers some questions for you. What I've done to the bottom of the car is I've just put a piece of Lexan underneath the front. That's the only other thing that I've done. You can see that I've used some wheel lug nuts to hold the bottom side of the chassis screws that I use to attach the wing on. But it's a pretty simple thing. It's carefully designed, and it works pretty good. So if you get one, great. I'd love to sell one to you if this does end up coming to fruition. I think it will, but we're gonna give it a shot. It's already been tested at the track. It wins. It's fast. It's very stable. You can feel it in a fast turn. And when I say fast turn, I'm talking about, you know, the wide open accelerating 8-tooth type turns with the 50T motor. And I notice a bit of difference down at the 7-tooth speeds. It's not quite as effective, but at that speed no wing is going to be. You're only going to get about probably 4 grams total, maybe 4.5, 5 total when you consider the no wing lift of the car compared to the car with a wing producing downforce. But that's what I had for you today. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that I've shown you that this is a valid wing. If you wanted more downforce, it is possible to bend this up even steeper. That can be done. I just wanted to find a good balance between downforce and drag, because the more lift you make, the more drag the wing will produce. So this is a good balance between the two, and I feel like it is a good fit for the front of the car because it still allows the front of the car to produce downforce, unlike some of the longer wings that stick out farther back will actually pivot the nose upward just because the downforce being created is so far aft of the rear axle that it creates a pivot point at the axle and tends to raise the nose. So a lot of thought has gone into it. I hope you respect the work of that, and if you choose to buy one, I would only ask that people don't copy it. Just buy them from me. They're going to be super cheap. They're going to be a quality piece that you can be proud of, put on your car, and it looks right. It doesn't look like a piece that's going to be cut in somebody's basement, like this one on the car right now, which was cut in my basement. But that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the show.